Hey, welcome to the 3 Things I Learned in Saas Sports Tech and Lab Events Special Edition. This may seem like it's not applicable to business, but it's very applicable to your business, especially if you're in a growth business or a high pressure business. So if you're starting a company or if you're in a high growth business or a revenue business, I can assure you that either you or somebody on your team will battle anxiety or panic attacks at some point during your career. Generally, these are very high achievers, people who can get a lot of money out of if you work with appropriately, and I was one of them. In 2005 and 2008, I had year-long struggles with it, which really changed my life for the worst. Now, what we're going to approach here is the 6 things we can do as leaders so that we can protect our business and help the people that we love get through something that is way more common than everybody thinks it is. So here's the 6 things I learned in my 2 one-year battles with really awful anxiety and panic attacks, and how it's impacted my business going forward in the hundreds of times that it's come up since. Get help, but get the right help. Mental health has made significant strides over the last 15 years with people like Brandon Marshall, Eric Cusson, my friend Darren Rovell, Naomi Osaki talking about this openly, Kevin Love just talking about it in the Olympic Games, which is what led to us having this conversation this week. The problem is there's a lot of help out there that's not good. I know I went to the wrong people for the first 3, and we'll talk about what some of their solutions were in a second. You need to find people for your team or for yourself who are experts at just anxiety. People who are focused on acceptance and commitment therapy, who can help you live your life and recover with anxiety and panic and live with it like the rest of us do. I'll link some things down in the comments, as I've probably read about 50 plus books over that time. But that's the number one most important step. A lot of times people who are struggling with this are problem solvers that want to fix things quickly, so they immediately find help and they go and stick with it and do whatever they're told, which again is a characteristic of people who have anxiety and panic. If you find the right help, the road to recovery is a lot quicker than some of us might think. That's number 1. We need to help them understand that though everybody is unique and different, sometimes those unique differences, which can be used for our benefit, can be turned against us. Generally, people who live with anxiety and panic are very, very driven. They don't understand that sometimes things take time and they want to fix everything immediately, and that just pours gasoline on the problem. The sooner we can help them understand how common this is, and that it's not a problem or an issue, it's a uniqueness that comes along with a really good understanding of EQ and IQ, the better off we're going to be. That's number 2. 3, be patient and encourage patience. Again, people who generally battle with these are people who are doers. They can fix things quickly. They get results. They're the number 1 sales rep. It's very common. If you read all the literature, that's the kind of person who struggles with this. Because of that, they like quick fixes. You and they need to understand that this takes patience and time. That what this trick is doing, what anxiety is doing to you, is using your strengths against you. And it's doing it very effectively. That's number 3. Number 4, and this is a sensitive one and a tough one, but drugs, they're terrific. They really do help a lot of people. We've had some mental illness in our family we've lived for our whole life, and drugs have changed our lives and brought it back. But they should be the last and final resort. They were not something that would have worked for me, and they were pushed on me by the first few people I went to. See number 1, where you need to get the right help. Make sure you're trying a lot of other things first and giving them time and being patient before we go the drug route. I'm not saying drugs are the bad thing. They do help a lot of people, but there's a lot of ways out of this for your team that don't require them to get prescriptions for the rest of their lives. That's number 4. 5, no, it isn't permanent. When you talk to people who are battling anxiety, especially people on your team and around you in your life, the biggest problem they run into is they think that this is going to be their life going forward. They want to go back to the way their life was beforehand. Nobody wants to go back to the way life was beforehand. We're getting smarter every day. We're getting better every day. Help them understand that this isn't permanent. Help them find examples of people who haven't had to change their life significantly because of it. That's something I really struggled with. I had a hard time finding people who didn't quit their job and do something else. We're out there. You can have a great life going forward, and it isn't permanent. Make sure your team knows that. And this will open the door and the floodgates more than you'll ever think. Talk about it openly. This comes up in our social circles a lot. It comes up in work a lot. It comes up in our family a lot. When somebody mentions anxiety, a lot of people are generally really surprised at how openly I talked about how much it wrecked my life in 2005 and 2008. And then the journey I went on, seeking out help from all different people, and what I really learned and understood about how people work, how people think, and how to be a better leader. If you talk about it openly with your team, you make it safe, you make it understood that this is something that we can all work through together, then I promise you, your high achievers, who are the ones that generally fall into this, they'll be loyal to you. You'll create a family, and you'll create a business that's going to be quite successful. I'm going to link a number of things down in the comments. I know there are a lot of ways out of this. When you post something about anxiety and panic, everybody's got answers. Here is the answer. I read everything and this is it. There's a lot of different ways to skin this cat. What I'm offering is what worked for me and the experts that worked for me. And I think that they can work for you, they can work for your loved ones, and they can work for the people in your business. So I hope that helps. That's it for the 3 things this week. We'll see everybody next week on the 3 things.